and welcome back to this timeline of Abandoned Planet. My name's Joe, and I also go by the name A Millennial's Third Eye. Abandoned Planet is where I invite you to abandon your planet in the sense of letting go or releasing old programs, thoughts, beliefs that are holding you back in the 3D and helping you expand your evolution of seeing your life in a new way and enjoying life in a new way. I feel like every time I do this show, I re-explain what Abandoned Planet is. Welcome back to Abandoned Planet. Let me remind myself as well before I remind you of what Abandoned Planet is really about. Yeah, Abandoned Planet. Literally, it's a fun play on words, but in another retrospect or metaphor to help you let go of the programming, the core beliefs that were shown to you in a way of introducing or expanding your mindset into enjoying a new perspective of life. And what I do here on Abandoned Planet, if you haven't listened to the bajillion other episodes yet, well, this is the sixth one. I share stuff about my life, and then I also give it to you, package it up, and you're like, whoa, I like this. So, quite honestly, like I had a whole other episode recorded. The weirdest thing happened. You're not gonna believe this, guys. It wouldn't load. I was like, whoa, this is weird. It wasn't one of those like where you try to do stuff and just frustrating or Mercury retrograde, whatever. It was just like literally, it wouldn't even play sound. I don't know. Maybe the file was too big. In my spiritual opinion or intuition, and I'm not surprised because of today's thoughts and processes, it was just not meant to be. And there was a lot more I think I can offer at this time than I did in that moment. It's a lost episode. It's too late. I deleted it. You'll never know. You'll never know. But in all honesty, I don't think you're going to be missing out on much in that one. I think that this is more um, supplemented. It has so much more to offer. I have so much on my mind. But let's start talking about stuff, shall we? Um, First things first, I think we should talk about the power of belief in this episode. I was talking about it in the previous one that you'll never see, or listen to, but I really still want to talk about that anyway. The power of belief. Your beliefs are very important to how you are going to receive, perceive, see, or view, and experience your reality. So, what I mean by that is understand that what you truly believe subconsciously is also part of this. This is why they say, shadow working or healing. It's really finding the root of your subconscious belief that is looping that pattern or the reality that you're experiencing. And this can go so many different ways. And I'm going to be honest. I think that it's very interesting. I can't wait to actually share with you later in this episode what I discovered today. It was kind of very interesting how things play out. And I'm hoping I don't get too emotional actually talking about it. I was actually like crying a little bit earlier. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, holy sh. But anyways, power of belief. We don't realize it sometimes, but we have some core beliefs that, as much as we consciously think that we don't, we do, and we don't realize the root of it. The best ways to reprogram your mind are to literally like tip the scales in the power of belief. A lot of people talk about this. I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks in another retrospect way of the power of belief and the way of the mind. I'm a big fan of the mind. I love the way people think or we think and how to learn and rewire the brain. There's a lot of experiences that people talk about as well with the power of the mind being so strong that they have healed themselves in a wild way that goes beyond what we call the third dimension. And what I mean by the third dimension or goes beyond, it means, we're shown that you can't have this without that, or you can't do this. It's a very limited perspective. And when we go beyond the third dimension, and the third dimension is the physical, right? But when you go beyond the third dimension, which is a mindset, in my opinion, you're shifting a conscious reality of how you can perceive your life and also experiences. It goes beyond the limited belief. So it's basically what I'm talking about right now is it goes beyond the one dimensional mindset. When you look at like sacred geometry and you look at vibrations and frequency, it's all connected. And I love this stuff. Energy's energy, but energy and things evolve. So you see the patterns. Have you ever seen the video of the sand and the frequency shifting and the symbols of the sacred geometry shifting? That's the dimensional shifting, like in a way, when you shift your mindset dimensionally, you're going from a different perspective. Some people might be like too in their ego right now, or, well, actually, Joe, just chill. Hold on. So when you start to see and think differently, I like to tell people too, like, don't complicate these things. It's just a shift sometimes of how you're viewing or thinking about your life. And then sometimes it's also, another way of looking at it is shifting your perspective internally when you're loving yourself. But going back to the power of belief, believing in yourself, believing in manifesting, believing in changing things is very important. A lot of the times we cause a problem because we're looking to validate our new belief. And what happens is that we actually cause a problem because we're looking to prove ourselves wrong, or we're trying to flip the script, but things aren't changing fast enough for us, or we're not getting that reality change. We have to practice this power of belief to the point where it goes beyond validation. It goes beyond getting the proof of what it is you're doing yet. You have to truly believe in yourself. I have some manifesting stories I could share, but a lot of the techniques here that I've noticed, there's a mixture. And I've noticed, you might hear cars going by and stuff. I think it's very aesthetic to the podcast now. We're in the Hudson Valley of New York. If you're part of the Hudson Valley region of New York, holla. What's up? What up, Hudson Valley? I was looking for the applause, but whatever. We'll do that. Anyways, it's apple season here. If you can hear that, that's a truck going by. It's apple season. We got trucks going down the road picking up apples and stuff. And if you're wondering if it smells aromatic of apples, it really doesn't. There is grapes across the street here. It's come like October, it will like end of September, October. It smells. Anyways, ADHD. Holla at your boy. Power belief. There's a couple different things that happen in this, but the power belief and manifesting, you're rewiring the mind to think and believe that you're worthy and you have it. A lot of the practices are just the knowing that it's already happening. It's done. It's going to happen. You speak about it in certain ways. I've done this different ways. There's times where honestly, like I didn't even know what I wanted or what I wanted to do. So I just did, I didn't do anything. I also know that there was times where as much as I wanted to manifest, I was carrying that vibration of doubt or ego. So we have to embrace the ego part of like awareness of that. But I really want to focus on the power of belief and changing your life. And I'm not just saying this to like manifest. I'm talking about like everyday skill set where you want to make a difference in who you are or what you want to do. And I also want to introduce here in the formula fear. Fear is a big time game stopper. What if we fail? What if this? What if that? This is why they say trust the process. Trust in where you're going. The one part of you says this is what you need to do. It's like your intuition, like But the other part of you saying, well, I'm afraid. I don't want to go and be uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. We search for security in things. So that sense of security is when we feel good making the decision because we know it's going to be worth it. And in my line of work, in my life, I don't know about you, but it's not always, it doesn't always feel that way. Even in spirituality, when I was and have been evolving and doing more readings or breaking past uncomfortabilities, a lot of times, a lot of people spiritually and intuitively were afraid of speaking our truth because, look, on the spiritual level, what if I'm wrong? What if this? What if that? What if, speaking your truth can also be, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they don't understand me? It's all fear related. It's all fear related. And taking the power back, or taking your power back, is that sense of security in yourself. To go, you know what? I'm safe to speak my truth. I'm safe to say this. I'm not afraid, not being afraid to quote unquote be wrong, but it's really not being afraid to say it the wrong way, not being afraid to, bring up something. Because look, in the spiritual world, let's say someone does, they have a reading and they have a health issue and they want to say, no, no, no. It gets to the point sometimes where you have to realize as a person, if this is what your guides or your team or people are bringing up, you can't be afraid. But I want to look at this on a whole scale of life. Life brings us through directions. And for me, it has been through work or decisions, and making the right decisions, or feeling like I'm making the right decisions. Have I made mistakes? Yes, we've all made mistakes. But when it comes to the power belief in your current reality, you have to make peace with your past. Otherwise, you won't be present. But it's also rewriting that code, that belief that was limited, with a new one. So reinforcing it. And what does this do? It takes work. It takes some sort of effort. I mean, let's look at it on a formula basis. What is work? Work is energy and time, and it's effort. It's putting in some sort of energy to create something. And I want to add now to this formula self-love, and or quote unquote unconditional love of self-love. Self-love. A lot of us, including I'm sure you, have realized that it's really easy to go external, to give, to do for other people, to search externally for that love, or to receive that love externally. It's something that, are we worthy of receiving love? Yes. But it's also the self-love we need to give to ourselves. What we receive is also how we treat and give to ourselves, how we view ourselves, what we think about ourselves. I guess in this episode, I really want to embrace, if anything, the power of belief with the time and effort and self-love, determination to give and do for yourself. I want to share with you, I guess, I feel like I'm too excited to really talk about it, but I had recorded this podcast before and I was a little frustrated, a little bit, not going to lie, that it didn't go the normal way, or it just didn't happen at all. Like, it just recorded it and it didn't work. But I said, you know what? It's going to be fine. I'll re-record it. It's just not meant to happen the way it did. And over the course of the time here, I think it's been over a week. Obviously, I didn't post it yet. So, um, I've been taking action over the past couple weeks on self-love, and taking action towards pursuits that I want to say I was afraid to accomplish. I guess, we avoid what's good for us sometimes. And I want you to really think about that. And well, if you're listening to Abandoned Planet, think about it with me. When someone offers love to you and your brain's like, no way, we don't believe you. It's because somewhere in your core beliefs, you never experienced healthy relationships. And so what are you going to do? You're going to sabotage that. You're going to question it and doubt it, because that's what you're used to. You're not used to, like, how do you know? How do I know? No, that's not how it goes. How do I know they love me? Something like that. Whitney Houston, right? How will I know? Anyways, but sometimes there's good things that are given into our reality, but we fear it. We push it away. We run from it. We avoid it. Also, we do that with ourselves. You know how you know? Or I know, we know. I know, we know. When I dip, you dip, we dip. When you are kind of like in between shifting from looking at your phone, or kind of like maybe watching TV, and you're alone and you're bored, and then you go put your phone down, but then you pick it back up, that awkward moment, you feel that weird awkward moment, like you're about to face yourself, but you don't want to. That's the feeling. That's when you start realizing eventually that you're avoiding yourself. It starts off feeling weird, honestly. I look at it as like the current going the opposite way. You're wanting to go the opposite way because you're meant to, but it's so new to you. Um, but loving ourselves and the connection with our reality. I guess in this part of the episode, I'm going to introduce to you um, some working tools. I know we're not a fan of the mirror aspect, but let's find some other words. The flipping the script in a good way, or what as within, so without. Yeah, as within, so without. Boom. Um, it's a reflection. So you'll notice, and I love sharing this with people, what you do over here is what you're going to do over there. So if you are very observant, if you have observance, you're going to notice that if you short yourself here, you're going to short yourself over there. If you're doing a little bit over here, you're going to do a little bit over there. If you're going to give if you whatever, I'm just saying in a aspect of like negativity. Well, that's the words that came out. Lacking. So if you love yourself here, you're going to love people more. If you understand yourself more here, you're going to be understood more over there. You're going to understand people. It's all connected and reflected back to us. And it's a very interesting game or system matrix. It's very, very odd sometimes to understand that at first. But, I like to look at this, and I'm going to introduce, I guess, another part of the tools here that I like to offer. I teach people these things, and I love talking about it. And that's why I do this podcast. We're going to introduce the playful aspect of the mind. Instead of like freaking out and making things complicated and frustrated, I like to do creative thinking. Oh, like if this is me and I'm reflecting that, I get this. And how can I get that? How can I get this, but also be better? It's just playfully being observant of your life, because you're going to wind up like, the words I want to use is falling in love with life. That's what we really should do, is fall in love with our life. And I know a lot of people sometimes might be like, well, that's easier for you to say. It's exactly how they sound too. It's probably how you sound. That's how you sound. What's easy for you to say? I'm just kidding. Haha. But the reason why I say falling in love with your life or falling in love with your reality is because it gives this leeway emotionally to shifting into a new mindset, a new timeline. Timelines are decisions and vibrations. And also a new way of seeing your reality shift and change and enjoy it. Here's the perspective and comparison. If you're someone who's worried about something not working out for you, money, blah, 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 things of that nature. I don't want to say blah, 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 but things that are negative, you're frustrated. Well, shift it into a playful feeling. The feeling that you first get when you're doing that is disappointment. It feels aggravating. It feels like you can't get where you want to be. And when you shift into this playful mindset of reality in the universe, and you can kind of start to have fun with it, you would need, I guess, some common or knowledge or experiences. You need some knowledge first, like the law of attraction, the mirror aspect, as within, so without. If we attract what we are, who we are, kind of having fun with these concepts per se in your mind, because what's going to happen is when you're having fun, you're going to start clicking into new information. And you're going to go, oh my God, you're going to realize some shit. You know what I mean? Oh, hit the wrong button. You're going to realize some shit. I still like hitting it, even though it's too late. I have ADHD, so I jump around. Now, you have to want to do this. And I'm not going to lie to you, earlier today, I had some thoughts. And these thoughts were based around, honestly, they were based around money. I think a lot of us want to manifest money or bring money in, and we want to learn how to release this karma or subconscious core belief. And so I noticed I was laying in bed longer than I would like to, and I was avoiding doing things. I was avoiding something. I had to eventually get off my phone and I said, you know what? Let's get excited. Let's do that podcast today. Let's do it. Um, let's not stay in fear or negativity or doubt or worries or this avoidance feeling. Let's get out of this. I mean, a lot of times people, or what we'll do is we'll try to talk ourselves into or out of something the wrong way. It's gonna be okay, like we're doing our best. But so you know what? We need to get excited. That's been a topic for me recently. Has been get excited for life. You don't need to know everything in the details. And quite honestly, it's a great topic to add into this formula is the path of least resistance. When you're not thinking about something and you're happy and you're excited and you're in a passion, you're high vibrational, you're letting things come to you. You're letting things work out for you. You're letting ideas flow. You're not in resistance. And, I'm glad I did this because as I was kind of getting ready to put myself on camera and record today and the audio and all that fun stuff, I really I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I really like this guy. I like this. I like this guy. I like who I see. And it made me feel good for myself. It made me realize that I just needed to love myself through this little moment I had. I want to backtrack a little bit too. I had to repair a car thing again, and it was an issue that was continuous. And me and my dad were working on it, and he got frustrated. That one got messed up. They got another one. I didn't want to do it at that point. He had replaced another 2 parts, and things worked out. But in the process of this, I wanted to get annoyed and upset and frustrated. And it was another moment I chose to overwrite the feeling. My mind wanted to try to figure the problem out, and so you know what? It's all going to work out better than I can imagine. And it did. It all worked out. But yeah, today wasn't feeling the best, and I chose to love myself and get up, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I want to share something with everyone. I want to share with you something that I'll get to the part of this that's really, really what I loved about this moment for me, but why I do what I do or enjoy doing what I do. And if you're new to who I am, or this is your first episode that you're watching, sometimes we randomly click an episode. Hey, divine timing, right? But over the years, and I still do readings and I still do life coaching and I still mentor people. But, in the beginning, it was very exciting for me. And I think what happens to a lot of us at times is despite love and relationships or people, scenarios, we go through life and it creates a belief, going back to the power of belief, right? And that belief we don't realize is that maybe we feel a certain way about life. And yeah, it's been challenging over the years because a lot of us want to either return back to the feeling we once felt with something. Maybe you were in love before. Maybe you were in love with yourself or what you were doing before. You lost your passion or you lost your happiness, or your frustrations. And I don't know what really brought me to this awareness, but I started to get excited for this podcast today. And I saw myself in the mirror and I was like, I really like this guy. You look good. And I started thinking about, the podcast and the ideas I wanted to talk about, the power of belief and self-love, and something just clicked. And I realized, and I want you to realize yourself as well. This is not just for me. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you why I love what I do. I love what I do because I find passion in reminding people or yourself of similar things that I also have difficulty with. So if you're someone who is having a hard time with loving yourself, understanding the concepts of thinking differently. You want to be better at something. You want to be happy. A lot of this is because I wanted to be happy. I'm actually kind of reflecting right now. I remember being very depressed. I was wanting to be happy, and I kept asking people, like, I was asking for people's advice at one point. I was like, what is it are you happy? And life works out very uniquely. Everything is meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And I, at one point, realized, I guess, that no one can tell me how I will find my own happiness. And the reason why I share all of this with you is because I have this passion and love for helping people who feel similarly. Maybe you don't know what career you want. Maybe you want a healthy relationship. Maybe you want to be happy. Maybe you have the relationship. You want to be happy. Maybe you're stuck externally thinking about life and you just want to be calm and peaceful on the inside. And all these things that I experience, I find passion in, but I have this passion to share it with you. I have this passion for perfectionism where I want to have the best introduction and I want to have the best. And I've been still challenged with what I'm doing. Well, over the past couple weeks, it's been easier, but over the past couple months, I had to let go of comparing my life with other people. I think a lot of us do this where we see a lot of people doing videos, we see a lot of people making stuff. And I think we can sometimes feel, what's so special about me? Why would I, we get excited to do something. And I find that there's differences in this journey. The differences are, we want to pretend or be like someone, and the journey brings you to learning more about who you really are. You're not trying to be someone else. You're not trying to do stuff. You're not just trying to do it to make money. The journey brings you in so many different facets of the journey. Is that what I feel like? Before we were born, we're like, you guys should experience the journey. Have this life on earth. You will be evolving on as a soul, meeting people, creating your own. It's like that. That's the game, the journey. Can you imagine if that's really what it is? Well, I mean, life. Your life is going to bring you to people, scenarios. The more you think about something, the more you create it. The more you feel about something and think about something, you create it. Or there's something that brings you into life more, law of attraction. That's really what law of attraction is. When you feel something in an intense way and you're thinking about something, you can tend to create that reality. Some people don't want to believe it, but we do create scenarios that aren't really great for us, but we keep thinking about it and we manifest it. So, why not create the good stuff? And I think it's new to people. So when it's new to you and you're not used to thinking positive, it's like, oh wow, I'm so used to being negative about everything. It's against the current scenario. But I love what I do because I want to. And here's the message: I want to make a difference in someone's life. I want to be and feel that I have or it's significant. And I think that we all do. Whether that comes with friendships, love, passions, what you're doing matters. And so if you haven't heard this yet and you're listening to this, I want you to know, if you don't even know what you're doing and you don't know where you're going in life and you don't know how you're going to do it, like, you still matter. And I want you to also understand something. And this is coming also from me and my own experiences. And I'm sure you do as well have your own experiences. You have your life to live. Even when reality is showing all odds are against you, like you are like, well, you look, Joe, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened. How do I matter? And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because as much as I was focused on money, believe it or not, and my passion or doing what I do, I started to realize as I was thinking about this, about my past. what is money? It's a value. It's not really supposed to reflect our self-worth, but we do. And it kind of goes into our love life, our careers, our family life. If you don't feel like you matter, reality kind of shows us that, well, you do and you don't. I'm not saying that my life is horrible. It's not horrible, but I got emotional when I realized that what I do does matter. Because I think we talk about ourselves negatively sometimes. We can go down this rabbit hole of making this false belief that we're not even worthy of this really good relationship and this great job, or even continuing. Maybe we get really, some of you might or have been depressed where it's like you want to just like tap out. And so I'm here to remind you is that you are worthy of love and happiness, and you do matter. I think life can be sometimes, I don't want to say mundane. It's a good word to explain this, but it's repetitive or has, no, there's things that we want to change and they're not changing, or that's why they say, go within, love yourself. And it's a process. And this is what I share with you is to think differently. The power of belief is something you have to reinstate. So let's say you don't really believe still that you're worthy or you do matter, you make a difference. It's repetitive thinking. It's the work. Unconditional love is when you love something so much you're gonna still put that work in. As a guy, as I was a chef for 9 years. It's still in my blood, but here's a metaphor, right, or an example, and I'll switch it up the best way I can. But as if there's a guy out there that really likes to grill, loves it, he's gonna know how to take care of that grill. He's gonna know how to take it apart. He's gonna know how to degrease it. He's gonna know how to. He's not just gonna like use it for years and be like, oh, I gotta reorder the new parts, or I gotta buy a new grill. He's gonna appreciate it. And that same person, like I said before, what you do over here is what you're gonna do over there. If there's something else you really love, you're gonna love it unconditionally. You're gonna take care of it. You're gonna give. What does that grill give that guy? You're like, it heats up the grill. The grill gets hot. It gives this tool and ability to cook proteins and other stuff. But my point is, does it tell the guy like he's amazing? Does it give the guy kindness and all that? No, the guy just loves the grill, right? Now, this can also be of relationships. I'm not saying, are you the grill or not? We don't know. We're gonna find out in the next episode. But I don't know. Are you giving compliments or you not? You might be a narcissistic grill. Oh, damn. This got twisted now. We didn't realize this guy's in a toxic relationship with this girl. My point is, look, back to what we're talking about. If you love something enough or more than enough, you're going to love it unconditionally. And you're going to go above and beyond. You're going to put in work and dedication to taking care of whatever you love. And I also want to think of, for women, I don't know if I don't want to gender. You get my point though, right? If you love yourself though, you're going to take care of your family. Like there's so many things we can look at. I don't really like gender stuff because are there differences? Yes, but we're not that different as a soul. I like to look at it on a soul level. Is there gender differences? Sure. But I love everyone. But when it comes to ourselves, we have to learn to love ourselves unconditionally and give us and do the work. And that might be, I sit here sometimes and I'll listen to affirmations in the morning. I'll do what I need to do because I know that it makes me happy and it helps me. It gets me out of the bed, right? And I get excited. And instead of us waiting for something to happen, you give yourself love and happiness. We wait for ourselves sometimes. If you are in a loving relationship, it's doing quote unquote work, but it's the unconditional love work. It's that stuff sometimes that you don't really want to do. You might not feel like you want to do what you need to do despite anything at any subject, but you do it because you know you need to and it's good for you. And that's what I was doing earlier. I have like, I don't know what's going on, allergies, or I don't want to manifest that, but I'm not a fan of like editing videos. Once I'm started, I'm started. I don't edit in between. This is all in real time recorded. The introduction and ending is where I edit. I like snip off like maybe a little bit, because in the beginning I'm like 1, 2, 3. Anyways, you make a difference. You matter. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because over the years, I kind of got upset because, and this is, I'm talking about years. And I started my social media journey in 2018, and you try all this stuff. You know, they say the failing's not failing. It's failing. No, I'm just kidding. Failing's not failing. You're finding your way through. And then through that, I did learn a lot of different things about myself. I don't need to try to do this to be happy. And I did question at one point, you know, am I happy doing what I'm doing? And I realized that I was trying too hard. I wasn't really loving myself properly. I'm learning to love myself more. Like every day I'm learning more to love myself. But um when I started to think about this and went, wow, I do matter. I'm not gonna lie, like I got emotional. I already said that before, but what I want to share or talk about makes a difference. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because whoever you are, you know, are we reinventing the wheel? I mean, sometimes we have our own unique way, perspective, personality on doing something. Are we reinventing the wheel? No. Are we the first person to make pizza? You know, like no, but you might have an interesting view of perspective of your life or your how you do something, and that's a gift. But regardless of finding out what this is for you, I'm excited to share this with you because you all matter wherever you go. Um, I realized that by thinking and feeling, I realized that I felt like it didn't matter. I didn't know that. That's why well, in my perception of emotional crying, or it was more like happiness because I realized my soul needed that. My subconscious needed to release that. Because sometimes we wonder, why should I even bother? Why should I even bother talking about it or doing it? What would make a difference if I did it? And I think we fail sometimes to realize the true impact we can bring to someone's lives by being a friend, by giving a compliment, by speaking our truth, by being who we are. Makes a difference. Oh man, I can't stand that this is like happening right now. I'm not even crying, it's just like nasal drip. But I love who I am more than I have. And I'm excited and proud of myself, and I want you to do the same thing. Are you perfect? No, you're not gonna be perfect. All right, did you make mistakes in the past? Yeah, I'm sure you did. We got that. How do we like experience anything? There's gonna be some sort of outcome. Um, have you said the wrong things before? Sure. Have you made your decisions? Sure. But it's how you move from here. I don't even care, honestly. I care in a way, but for this topic, if you are coming out of jail, you're currently in jail. If you like, everyone deserves to realize and evolve. We can make differences. I know that's a it's a left field topic, but in all aspects of life, whoever you are, mentally and emotionally, the power of belief is very strong. And when you believe in something so much as to achieve a goal, to better yourself, you will. You will continue. But if we believe and think, and the word I want to use is um reinvest. There's a better word for that right now. If you reinvest in the negative thing, which is negative thinking, and you keep saying the negative, oh, I'll never do this and it'll never work out. And what happens is And listen to this, the people's stories of success here. A lot of people with their success stories, three times, like three people tell them no. A bajillion people tell them no, but they never stopped doing it. They believed in what they were doing very strongly, in which it only led them to succeed. And when we compare ourselves to people in in a viewpoint of, well, they didn't do this, they're different than me, and I did this and it's worse. You're making it worse for yourself. Look at the blueprint. The blueprint is the basic layout. The basic layout is the alchemical breakdown. That person they're a human as well. You're a human, from what I know. I'm a hybrid. Think about it. Google it. Joe is not real. He is a clone. But no, I'm not going. I do like those stories sometimes. It's pretty wild. I don't know. It's fun to just be curious about. Is Martin Lawrence real or not? But anyways, back to what I was saying. You're human. I'm human. We're a soul and a body and all that fun stuff. The basics of it is the belief, the deep rooted belief that I will, I am. And that is a very powerful word I just shared with you. I am. Don't just think about it and listen to what I'm saying for the surface level of this. I want you to think about this in a way of deep understanding. I want you to really take this in. When you say, I am, you're validating yourself. Like I said earlier, and I saw myself in the mirror, I basically was saying, I am good looking. I like this guy. He's worthy. You validate who you are instead of us constantly wanting someone to love us. We're so sad sometimes because we just want someone to validate us, which is what I'm kind of doing for you right now, but in a healthy way. Validating you personally, where someone says, you are so smart, you are this, you're that. And you know what happens to some of you? You don't take the compliment. You don't believe it. Oh, thanks. I'm not really. I'm this, I'm that. I'm heavyweight. Cut that out, homie. Listen, fool. Oh, that's not a bad word. Listen, fool. Cut out the negative thinking. When we do this, it's a pattern. It's almost like comfortable. It's a comfortable habit, which is no bueno. You're just repeating this, and all we need to do is change that. Flip the script. I am smart. I am successful. I am this. You have to really deep root that strongly. And it goes kind of in the beginning with, I am happy. And then eventually you're like, I am happy. I am successful. Because it's a vibe. You're not trying to slowly trick your brain. You're not trying to, the word trick is not the best word. You are mentally flipping the scales or tipping the scales, and you just keep thinking and thinking and thinking, I am this, I am this, I am this, I am this. Because otherwise the brain or the mind is kind of floating with thought. You're kind of letting it just do whatever. It's learning to utilize your mind more than you ever have before. But I really want you, or would like for you, to practice this and really reflect on things more. Who you are matters. What you do matters. You do make a difference in the world. And the reason why I say, and I want to talk about this or add this back into the conversation, is because you might not have the answers you want. I'm going to give you another tools of the day. This tool of the day is brought to you by affirmations. I want to share something with you about lining up with something. When it's lining up with a timeline, lining up with an answer, lining up with clarity. So, for example, you might not have the answer you want right now, but when you start saying things that affirm things, you will start to line up with it. Don't go trying to look for it right away. Just flow with it. So, for example, earlier today, I was feeling kind of blah, and I was like, no, we got to get excited. Get excited for what, Joe? Exactly. We weren't really sure exactly yet. And then it led into the podcast. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that podcast. Let's get excited for it. And then I started to feel good about myself. And I said, I love that guy. Look at that guy. And then it brought me to more excitement, which was, all right, so what are we going to talk about? I started to feel good. I put my shirt on. I started to change like I wanted to look good and feel good. I'm lining myself up. So you might not know the answer. You might not know how to get there. You might not know, but high vibrational decisions. You're lining up with this timeline that exists. Maybe you're here and you want to go here. You got to go up. And how do you go up? You have to make decisions. You have to choose to love yourself. You have to choose to feel good. And I started playing music and I started to think. And so that's a tool. I want you to line up with something. But I really loved this conversation around everyone matters. You matter. Your story matters. I think that this world truly needs more real. And real is being vulnerable. It's being who you really are. It's not like you're not putting a mask on. And the reason why I say real is because when we start to share our difficulties, we find that we're not alone in this world, that there's someone else out there that does understand, that there is someone who maybe shares something in a way that you receive the information and you're like, wow, I finally get it. This person really helped me. And I think that also that factor, this conversation is also to be shared in the aspect of you truly don't really know sometimes how you might be able to help someone. And that was my goal starting this. My journey came from a difficult place. It was very depressing. I had lost someone to unaliving themselves, actually two, but one in particular. And I took it very, very hard. I blamed myself for a long time. And I went through this spiritual journey. And it was very interesting. There was pros and cons. There was difficulties. There was finding clarity in my inner consciousness and intuition. But something today really hit me with this realization that what I do matters, and what I want to share with you again is you matter. It really helped me reflect on my career. Like I started to see everything, like my career, my love life, people, who we are, regardless of what you're going to do, like who you are right now as this person that's listening. You matter. Like, just think about that. Your existence alone. And the reason why I say this is because I feel that we're constantly looking for, I don't know, do we need to share everything? Do we need to do this? Do we need to, just the knowing alone that you are valuable and the fact that you matter is so profound to me. And that's why I wanted to share that with you. Think about it. I think we can feel sometimes that we don't matter, that we aren't significant, that we are so small in this big world, or this small world. We're so, I don't know, whatever. You get it. And we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be loved, appreciated. And that's what stood out to me today is my words or who I am matters. What I create or do matters. Even for ourselves, like we matter. I don't know. I love this. I love this understanding that that's so valuable. You matter. You make a difference. I love that. I love that for you. Some people don't like that. I love that for you. I hope that resonates. But but it feels good to know and really understand that for me. Because I started to get a little emotional that I just really wanted to make a difference. And that's the feeling I've always wanted. I wanted to be appreciated for making a difference, and I really love that understanding that I matter. And that's what that also does, is it's reinforcing a belief. It's reinforcing my self worth and value and what I do and my passion in what I do. And I want you to also do the same thing. You know, we went from, for me, possibly not doing this podcast today to being really excited to talk and share this podcast with you today. So, um, whatever your state is currently, I'm not saying just where you live. I'm talking about your planet, your abandoned planet, your mentality, and your emotions. Um, do the things. Do the things. Get out of your way. Mind over matter. Do what you need to get done. Accomplish things. Getting things accomplished feels good, and that's the goal: is to feel good. And sometimes the things that feel good are things that take time. It's reflecting or taking action on something. I guess putting in the work. There's a lot of this out there, and I think that I've come to the point where, is it good reading these things? Yeah, but there's a lot of people that just like copy and paste, or and I share a lot of stuff too, but how many people really get it, you know? I don't know. Is that my job? Oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. Something else I want to share before I wrap this up is I started letting go of the material world. And what I mean by that is, none of the, in a healthy way, none of this matters. It's so peaceful to think about. Like I'm not taking, like I'm not bound here, if that makes sense. I'm not bound to this place, meaning, you know, a lot of us are holding on to materials and we don't want to let things go, or we're so attached to this 3D world. Think about that. We're attached to it. No buenos. And I had this peaceful thought of, I'm not bound by this world. Not in a like dark way, but you know, this is not it. It's not the end. And I'm not also bound by space and time. And then in the 3D world, we're bound by space and time, but we don't need to mentally agree to that. We can transcend space and time, which is the dimensional way of shifting and thinking. But when you detach from this, it's a way of bringing peace to yourself, because some of this stuff is not important. What are you really bringing with you after this? Where are you, like, you know, you're bringing your experiences with you from what we know. You're bringing your soul, but there's more than what we know. But my point about that topic is detachment. We're meant to just flow. We're meant to flow, let things come in and out of our life. And I found that we were, or have been, most of us, attached to our past. But it's time for detachment. Let go. What's really important. And, you know, you being here alone is also what matters. But I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast of Abandoned Planet. And I look forward to many more. I will catch you on the next timeline. Peace.